Welcome to CFC Fan TV. Now, we have an awful lot to get through, don't we? There's been so much going on. I'm joined by Charlie, the Hurricane Skillen. Charlie, there's only one place to start, and that is Lukaku, Manchester United.
It's all kicked off, isn't it?
What's going on?
Well, look, I mean, we've been on videos before saying Lukaku will definitely happen. It's looked that way all summer. Chelsea wanted it, Lukaku wanted it, personal terms were agreed, and he's going to Man United.
It's definitely it's happening, isn't it? He's going to go to Manchester United now. Paul Pogba announced it this morning, didn't he?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you say that in a jokey way, but I think Pogba's had a lot to do with it. They've been on holiday together. Yeah. They're both Mino Raiola clients. Chelsea is still, at the time of speaking, Chelsea is still holding out hope that Lukaku will carry through what he's been saying all summer and what we still believe to be the case, that he wants to be a Chelsea player. But it seems like
have Chelsea dropped the ball here? Because we had the opportunity to. If it all seemed set that he was going to be a Chelsea player, didn't it? The player was gearing up to that. Everton seemed happy. Yeah. We were going to stump up the money. Yeah. Costa was leaving. It was all happening.
But it's not. No.
But then we didn't strike.
Yeah.
Which is indicatory of Conte not being completely convinced. Why else haven't we just
look, I mean, I've always said from the start, I'm not 100% convinced that Conte was sold on Lukaku big time, but it's almost an irrelevance. Conte's stock with the Chelsea board fell a hell of a lot with this Costa business and the text and whatever. So Conte had come around to the idea of having Lukaku as his main striker. He'd been texting him over the last few weeks, and he got to the point where, he's happy with the situation. Now, obviously, that situation has changed massively. The Wayne Rooney deal, Everton and Man United get talking, and it seems like Wayne Rooney's going home to his boyhood club, and Mino Raiola, Lukaku's agent, he's going to be making a hell of a lot of money that Chelsea aren't willing to pay him. Chelsea never actually agreed to deal with Everton. Everton and Chelsea don't get on. It's linked to the John Stones thing a couple of years ago. Yeah. Chelsea massively, hacked Everton off, and Man United are the first ones to make a deal with Everton. Now, Chelsea and Lukaku have had personal terms agreed for ages, but obviously that doesn't matter. And now, Everton say there's not a deal done. Chelsea are still putting forward the fact that they're still in the running, but it's all semantics at this point. I mean, as it stands, he's a Man United player.
The thing is, I don't think that it mattered whether you wanted or didn't want Lukaku 24 hours ago. No. Now you have to want him, because we've now got ourselves into a battle with Manchester United. I think I put out on Twitter that I wasn't 100% convinced.
No.
I wouldn't have been completely destroyed had we not signed Lukaku.
No.
Now it's not about that. Now it's about we're in a fight for the player. It's never good to lose a fight. It puts Manchester United 1-0 up on us.
100%, yeah, 100%. Look. I mean, I had a similar conversation with people on Twitter. I wrote the story for the Mail on what this meant for Chelsea, and Chelsea were absolutely flabbergasted at the events of the past week. Now, it doesn't matter. Yes, I mean, I've gone on record as saying that I wasn't convinced that I want Lukaku to be a Chelsea striker. Try as I might, my view's completely irrelevant when it comes to Chelsea transfers. Chelsea wants that deal to happen, and Chelsea's plans are completely thrown out the window. Completely. Now, we're looking at picking back up a deal for Morata that we left behind maybe 3-4 weeks ago. Morata was very near and moved to Man United. Obviously, that's not happening now, so we kind of have to go back to Morata. That involves dealing with Real Madrid, which is never easy. The only other striker that we've even been close to being linked with is Belotti from Torino. Now,
who's dear, very expensive.
Very, very expensive for a striker that you could argue has only done one season. Although I do like Italian strikers, and he's called the Rooster, and he does this when he scores, and
very nice.
I could get on board with it.
I like anyone who scores loads of goals for Chelsea, and if he's the man, it's brilliant. And let's make that one happen. I put a tweet out where I said, if we don't sign Lukaku, we could have dodged a bullet, assuming that we make sure that we sign somebody else.
Well, I mean, even if you take last season's squad, still need to add to that, because in the Champions League with the Premier League champions and everyone ups their game, it was quite clear that Conte isn't happy with having Batshuayi as his second choice striker, and key to all this is Diego Costa.
Well, that's the other option here. I mean, I'm probably being overly optimistic, but I think we can. A huge silver lining to this cloud that's currently hanging over us would be if we use this incident over the last 24 hours, Manchester United hijacking our deal for Lukaku, if we use that as an impetus to reignite the fire between Costa and Conte.
I mean, I want nothing more than Diego Costa to stay at Chelsea. I think that's wishful thinking. I really do. The club said as much this week that no matter what happens with Lukaku, Costa's off. It does seem, our information is that the rift between Conte and Costa is irreparable. And
so the question is now, Charlie, where do we go from here?
I'd love to know. I'd love to know Champions League football. I'd love to know, and I think the board would love to know. Look, make no bones about it. We've had an awful week in the transfer window. We've had an absolute shocker. We've been completely gazumped to by far our main target. It even seemed, I think that the deal for Bakayoko from Monaco, I think that will end up happening. But even, our information is that Monaco are even kind of getting a bit hacked off that that deal's taken so long. Chelsea kind of wanted to sell Matic before they got in Bakayoko. But, I don't think they'll be looking to do business with Man United anytime soon.
So, for the risk of going over old ground, but we're going to do it anyway.
Go on.
Do we now need to discuss our board? Have they, over the past, say, 5 years, I think the board have got a lot of grief.
They have.
A particular man on the board, comes up unfavourably here. Is this an Emanalo error again?
I think it's all too easy to say this is Emanalo's fault. Get Emanalo out and it's all sorted. I wouldn't be the first to sing his praise from the rooftops, but he's part of a structure. And the whole club collectively, I think, needs to take a look at themselves and how they've handled pretty much everything since the end of the season. Conte has not put himself in the best position with telling Costa that he's not in his plans. Ideally, Chelsea want to sell Costa, but they want to sell him for like 60 million quid. Atletico, which is seems to be the only place Costa wants to go, they're only willing to pay 20, and Chelsea's negotiating.
20's not completely ridiculous. When you think that their keeper who went down with Sunderland just went for 30.
It is raw, but we publicly don't want him. Yes, if you're playing FIFA, he's not a £20 million player, he's a £60 million player. But as Conte is...
It's not completely Costa's decision. Like, whether Costa says, oh, well, I only want to go to Atletico Madrid. If Atletico Madrid won't pay the sort of sums that we think...
No. And Chelsea have publicly put out this week that they're not going to be bullied into some sort of deal. And I think that, was it not for this text business and this fallout, that keeping Costa... I've thought this from the start, but keeping Costa is actually looking like a real preferable scenario at the minute in terms of the pure play you get. I think with all the, with all the charades off the pitch and even on the pitch sometimes, I think people forget what a good player he is.
He's fantastic.
He's got to be, he's certainly one of the top 3-4 strikers in the Premier League.
The only people who you can even have the debate about being a better striker than him in the Premier League, for me, you can make a case for Harry Kane, you can make a case for Sergio Aguero. Yeah. Nobody else is better than Diego Costa.
No, absolutely, and it seems bizarre. I had a conversation with one of our reporters this week, and it seems bizarre that we're sat here crying about Lukaku when we've got a better striker at the club.
Yes.
It's madness, but it's the situation we're faced with. I still like to think that it's a salvable situation, but the information we're hearing is that Conte does not want to work with Costa. Now, obviously, that involves getting in one of Belotti or Morata.
Which, is there a world in which who do we want out of those two? I've read in the past that Conte's very keen on Belotti.
He's keen on both of them. Conte tried to sign Morata last year for Chelsea. My issue with Morata, look, I'll say it now. I've not been watching either of them play every week, but my issue with Morata is that he's kind of more a bit of a second striker. He's not, he's not 25 goals a season.
No, he's got also his goal record over the past, say, 4 seasons. It's respectable at best.
It's not. It's
respectable.
Sit up, take notice. But he's not that sort of player. So it might be that even you need
another striker.
You need another one. Look, I if Costa's off, I certainly think Chelsea has to buy 2 strikers.
Right. Okay. I think we should also touch on some other news. Anything going on with Sandro?
Sandro, yeah. that's again a bit of an odd one. I said on the video I did on holiday that while he is clearly, you know, a player that is fantastically rated, and it might be that no matter what that Chelsea want to get him, the left side is not a position that I'd be looking to spend 60 million on. You know, I'm a big.
We want to do that again.
Yeah.
We spent a lot of money on that side over the past 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of Alonso, but PSG are in for him as well. But he doesn't want to go to PSG. He's okay with the idea of staying at Juve. It's not one that's, you know, definitely going to happen. But I do think it's quite likely. I do think Conte wants him big time. So.
Okay, so that one could happen.
Yeah.
And any other news? Anything else we need to discuss, or are we just going to like?
I think
just worry about this issue up front.
Yeah, I think we're going to worry about it. And I think as we're sat here, I think the Chelsea board are locked away, looking at different options.
Yeah, well, hopefully. Although
think so.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe they're all somewhere around a lovely beach, and because that's the way that the business seems to be conducted at the moment. It seems to be very relaxed and not done super professionally.
And that's why Man United have got our top target.
There we go. On that happy note, I suppose we should end this video. Yeah. Do us a favour, comment below, let us know what you think of this. Do you think we've dodged a bullet missing out on Lukaku, or are you gutted? If you haven't subscribed already, please do it right now.